Welcome, and I'd like to call to order the membership meeting at 1:32 p.m. So Matt, if you're not recording, you are welcome to begin recording now. And yeah, I feel like I haven't seen all of you in a while, so it's really good to see you here. Before we get started in membership matters, I'd just like to ask if there's anyone for public comment. No? Okay. Well, then moving on, we will move on to membership matters. I've got a few things written down here. And I'm just going to start with the top of my list. And if anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. Hey, Jolie, glad you're here. Jolie, yeah, actually, I am glad you're here. I have a question for you. One of the questions I had is regarding our members whose membership.
Email you sent?
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Email you sent me?
Yeah, I was wondering if you had a chance to reach out to any of the members whose membership has expired or will expire on July 1 to see if that they are still interested in remaining on the SAC.
So I did reach out to them, and I was waiting to update you guys today because that's usually how I would get the next course of action. So I wanted to let you guys know that I did, Catherine, I did. So thanks for that email. Just a little busy this morning, so I didn't get back to you, but I knew we were going to meet. So yes, I did reach out. Catherine, I have not heard back from anyone. That's not unusual. Because if they're not really planning to, they won't respond. So, I'm going to resend an email, worded a little differently. And I wanted to make sure that so I was waiting. I planned on sending an email today, but I was going to give you a heads up on how that I was going to be emailing them again. I didn't know if you wanted to connect with me and have me send something out from, from you, see if we get some more responses. And I planned, if I don't hear back from, I'm sorry, I'm off camera. If I don't hear back from the members, by the time I send out by the time I send out my reminder email for the full meeting, then I planned on including a message in our reminder email as well. The reminder email that goes out with the agenda for the full SAC meeting.
Okay.
So I plan on emailing today. I will connect with you on that after this meeting.
Okay. If we can connect really quick, because I have another meeting.
We don't need to
immediately
connect
after
virtually.
This.
We don't need to meet virtually.
Just email. Thanks.
Yep. You got it.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
Susan, I see your hand is up.
Is there any way we can find out who the letter was sent to that we're considering? Because I know I'm at my 2 years and I know I didn't get anything, but do you know who we're considering? That would be super helpful. Who you sent it to?
Because you're on the executive committee and I usually post it on what's going on with you. Yeah. So like how you feel, so I wouldn't include anyone who I know. So at this, I only at this point I only send it to parent members.
Yes, that's who we're primarily concerned with on.
At this point, I thought I was only supposed to reach out to parent members, so I only reached out to parent members. If you want me to include anyone else, that's fine. Another update, we have Brian here, so I don't know if Brian wants to give that one, but Brian did reach out per Brian Kay's suggestion to Rita at correction. So Brian Kay has done that. Brian Smith has sent us an email on a contact Rita.
Okay.
And
all right.
Brian Kay has reached out, so we're waiting to hear on the vacancy for corrections.
Great. Okay. So we'll connect about the parents and adults with a disability as well, because we do have some of those members, and I think their attendance has been great, but at the same time, I know that some of them may have expired terms, so we want to make sure they're also interested in continuing. So yeah, so if we can connect via email after, that would be great. And also, if you have checked the attendance in the past year for any of these members. So for example, if they haven't been able to attend, just find out, if they plan on continuing and their attendance has been a little spotty, will they have a greater ability to attend next year? I know sometimes people have reasons why they have to step back for a little while, but then they're able to push back in when other things calm down on the other end. So, okay, great. Okay.
You got it.
Super.
Thank you. So I'm going to add the individuals / person with disabilities to that email. I did not have them in the first place. When I resend my email today, I will make sure I add them.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so if you and I will connect, but I think if we can really get responses from those people sooner rather than later, because I'd like to have a plan of action before we have the April membership meeting. If we know we have a number of vacancies, the more vacancies we have, the greater push we're going to need to make to recruit. And, being mindful of maintaining the diversity of the council and really representing the diversity of the student body in Connecticut. So, okay, good. And I think the only one I'm pretty sure of, but you can confirm, is Tammy. I don't think she'll be continuing, but we'll just double check all the others.
Catherine, I can add you to the email if you wanted to be added to the email.
That would be great. Thanks.
Yep.
Catherine, what do we do with our graduating students? How does that work?
So, you know what? We should actually check with them, because I am aware that one student is continuing, is not graduating. There are two I'm positive are not graduating next year. The other two, I don't know. I'm happy to reach out to the high school students. So I'll make a note. That's an action item for me.
Okay. I know Mia would love to join, but her schedule many times.
I'll check in with all of them. That would be great. Okay. And I want to say too, no one has emailed me saying they want to step down. I know I sent an email out a while ago, or I made that comment at I think the last advisory council meeting. If anyone was interested in stepping down, to email me. I haven't heard from anyone, so I just wanted to update you on that. And looking at vacancies too, again, I know we don't recruit for legislators, but we still have the 4 legislative openings. So, and I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, Jolie, do they get some kind of a special invitation or reminder when we have the SAC full council meetings?
Correct. I am sending them a separate email. So I have them on a separate distribution list. If you would like me to send a message like kind of designed regarding membership, we could work together on that too.
Okay.
If you're, go ahead.
Yeah, in the last council meeting, I sent out who appoints the legislatures, because that's really the key.
Yeah.
Those are the people that have to. Yeah. We're happy to have any legislature who's interested attend, but as far as the appointment, it has to be one from the House, one from the Senate, the different appointing bodies. So I just don't want your efforts to, it can be frustrating, because, those are the entities that appoint, even if we may have 6, legislatures interested in one particular, Democrats or Republicans, House, Senate, so forth.
Brian, when I email them, I will make sure that, so basically when I email them for meetings, I will make sure I don't add any wording on like asking them about membership, since that's not how we go about it.
I think that's okay. I'm just saying we can talk like because you said we have recruited, pretty heavily the legislatures. You held a legislative breakfast, which was very successful. You have individuals who are interested, but there's nothing the membership can do to execute that. So that's where I just want to make sure people are, understanding that both the legislature and us is that different than the other members, the membership has no, kind of
Right,
appointing
power to do that, yeah.
authority. But of course, we would invite them. Jolie's continue to invite them to the meetings via email. We encourage their participation and so forth.
That's great.
And it's interesting because even we have to, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but it's interesting to read the legislation about the legislative appointed individuals as far as their voting as well.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. And thank you, Brian and Jolie, for keeping the legislators informed, because we don't want to lose the momentum with the interest that they have in us. Even if they aren't officially appointed, it's just nice to invite them and make sure they're aware of what we're doing. So great. Okay, then. Okay, so all right, so we just need to wait and hear about any parents or adults with disabilities who may not continue with the council before we can come up with a membership recruitment strategy. So we'll wait and stay tuned on that. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, sorry, Brian.
Sorry, just a quick question. Sorry to interrupt. I should put my virtual hand up like Susan did. That worked out well.
No, that's okay.
Do you have current interest or applicants? Like, do you have applications or not at this time?
Nothing at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have one that someone submitted a while ago.
Okay.
But otherwise, nothing that's come in recently.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Denise.
I know too. Is there a form or an application or something that we can share? Because I'm thinking on the 29th, we have the big autism event at the Capitol. Maybe we can make mention at that time and have some applications available.
I think that's a great idea. Jolie, do you have the application handy? Could you just send it to everyone?
I'm already
Thank you.
on it. You got it.
Thanks.
I'm on it. And so Denise, just a heads up, if you ever misplace the email with the application I'm going to send now, is the SAC membership survey, and it's on our SAC webpage, and I'm going to include that in the email to you.
Okay. All right. So I'll make sure to mention it, and
You'll have the link directly to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thanks, Jolie. Thanks, Denise. And before we leave membership recruitment, I'm just looking at a couple things I have down here. Do we still have an opening for the Department of Justice? I know, Brian Smith, you had submitted a name, and that's again not something we do. We cannot recruit or appoint that position, but I just thought I would bring it up since we're all here. So I wasn't sure if that was vacant or if that still needs to be filled.
That was the person I mentioned. Yeah, that was the person I mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah,
that was the person named Rita that Brian K reached out to.
Yeah, so there is a director, USD 1 director in place. So we reached out to the commissioner of USD 1, connected with Rita as well, and so I would imagine we would hear back from them in the next couple of weeks, probably.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Okay.
Welcome.
All right. Anyone have any other comments or questions regarding membership recruitment strategies? No? Okay. All right. We're doing really well with our time here. Okay. So then let's move on to the nominating committee. And Brian Smith, I'm so glad you're here. And thank you again for agreeing to stay on as the chair of the nominating committee. I'm looking at some notes I have, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the protocol is at the next SAC full council meeting. I have a note that says, Jen and Brian, please ask if anyone is interested in running as chair or co-chair of the SAC? And if so, to let me know. Is that correct? Because I can't solicit since I'm not the chair of the nominating committee. So, Brian, since you're the chair, I think that you can make that announcement. And then if for some reason you're not there, I think Jen can be your backup on that. Okay, Brian. Wow, look at that official hand up.
I want to interrupt this time. I learned my lesson. Did you say co and co-chair? Or did you mean co-chair and vice chair?
Chair and vice chair, sorry.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think you might have said chair and co-chair, so I was just
No,
clarifying.
Chair and vice chair, thank you.
Chair and vice chair, got it.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Chair and vice chair. So, does that sound okay with you, Brian Smith?
Yes, that sounds fine.
Okay. Great.
I don't think I
And-
can be the backup though, Catherine, because I'm on the executive committee.
Got
I think
it.
somebody that is not has to do it.
Okay.
So just don't be absent, Brian.
Don't be absent. If you are,
No pressure.
maybe Lou Denise or Missy can be your backup.
And that's the 24th of this fine month, right? Are we doing it in this month? Okay. Yeah, no, I can be there.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. And I can check in with the chair and the vice chair if they are still interested in continuing as well. So that can be an action item for me. And Brian, when you make the announcement, if you can also emphasize to people that these are two roles that are very involved. There is a lot of work. There is a lot of time involved. And, just so people are aware of the level of commitment, I feel like I'm on the periphery here, but I certainly have a flavor of the time and energy that Susan and Jen have put into the SAC. So, just so people understand, it's not coming to the council meetings and that's it. And I think people have an idea of that, but just so that they know. Okay. All right.
No, I'll reinforce that this is not a light assignment or appointment, shall we say.
Thanks.
And if they want to put their name in for nominations or they want to nominate somebody, that party can have a conversation with the current or past just to get a flavor.
Great.
Super. Of workload to have a more representative decision. And if they choose to continue, they choose to continue. And if they want to withdraw their name, they can withdraw their name. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Just wanted
Great.
to remind folks that it's one or both need to be a parent of a child with a disability or an individual with a disability. So it doesn't have to be both, but it has to be one. Could be could be the vice chair. Now I'm saying co-chair. Could be the chair, could be the vice chair, could be both, but it has to be at least one.
Thanks.
Either
Thank
an
you.
individual or a parent.
Great. Thanks for the reminder, Brian.
And Brian, just out of curiosity, and thank you as well. Has the SAC ever had an individual in either of those roles?
Not since my tenure here,
Okay.
unless the individual, the chairs and vice chairs that I recall were all either parents or, represented in an entity.
Right. That's my recollection as well. Just when you said individual, I was like,
Yeah.
Have we ever?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Great. Any other comments, questions about the nominating committee? No? All right, great. All right. So let's move on to the SAC membership survey and the SAC website. So, I think it's great, and I think we all agree, great to have the membership survey on the SAC website. That way it's readily available, people can find it. But at the same time, I think it's important, and I know other people in the committee too have expressed to me the importance of individuals who complete the survey understanding that there is a process, there is a review process when you apply to be on the SAC. So I'm just wondering what people's thoughts are on, say, having some kind of a disclaimer statement that accompanies the survey on the website. Something to the effect of, and again, this is, feel free to edit. I was just jotting something down and I thought we could say something like, an individual may submit a membership survey at any time. Surveys will remain on file until a position on the council becomes available. At that time, all membership surveys on file will be considered. Okay, thumbs up from Susan, thanks. Okay.
Should we add something about that we try to make the council representative of the diversity of Connecticut? So it's not necessarily like your application's in, you're the next in line. It's, we're always considering what voices are missing at the table. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and diversity also by region, because doesn't
Yeah.
it say we're supposed to kind of have people from all different regions?
Right. Do we have a sentence? Does anyone have the bylaws handy? Because I almost want to say there is a sentence in the membership portion that really explains it well. And Missy, you have your hand up while Susan's looking.
Yeah, it's just, we do the same thing, as Brian knows, for our task force, because we need stakeholders across, we want to look across the state. We don't want to focus on any certain area. So we want to make sure that we have a diverse population of stakeholders to inform the decisions that are made, so.
Right, exactly. Lou, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just curious where you're referencing this on our website. You're talking about the same place where the advisory council is listed?
Yeah, isn't there a sentence somewhere in the bylaws?
It's in 7. It's in section 7. You're almost there. But it doesn't say anything about it doesn't say anything about region. I thought it did. Under membership, Article 4, membership number 7, it talks about solicit potential members that represent the broadest range of individuals with disabilities and ethnic backgrounds.
I was specifically referencing like where you mentioned the membership survey. I don't see a membership, so I was just asking that. Like I was trying to circle back to what the membership survey looks like. I thought you said it was available on the SAC website, but I don't see it there. So I was
Lou, I'm gonna stop you there. She did not mention that it was on the website. I mentioned that it's on the website, and it was just brought to my attention that we have the student flyer and we have the legislative flyer on the website. The SAC membership is not on the website. I was waiting for her to finish, but thanks for asking that question. So. It is not. So we need to, so I think at one point you planned on getting that membership. I thought the flyer was already up. That's the membership survey. So it's the other documents that were up. So we need to get the membership survey up. Denise, note that I'm going to send you the survey, but not the link because the survey's not up yet.
All right. Thanks, Jolie. Okay. So, and Susan, thanks for, or if it was Lou or Susan, whoever brought up the statement, would it be okay if we added to that diversity statement something about regional diversity as well? Or should we leave it as is?
I think instead of diversity, if you say representative of Connecticut, then that should kind of cover all aspects of it. Just to not complicate it.
So. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. How about, should I type up what I had drafted and then just send it out to the committee, and then everyone can edit, throw their 2 cents worth in? Okay, great. I'll do that. Thank you, everyone. Because I have a feeling you all have some really good ways to finessing it. Okay, great. All right. Looking at the agenda. Anything else about the membership survey and the SAC website? No? Oh, we are so efficient with our time today. Okay. All right. Well, I know Brian has been waiting very patiently. And I think, Brian, did you say you had something you wanted to add about the appointments, or was there anything else?
Brian K.
Yeah, Brian K. Yes.
Nothing to add.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I should have said,
Nope.
yes, Brian K. Sorry.
Nothing to add.
Okay. Anyone else?
We covered it all. It was a great, efficient job with the agenda.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, Julie typed that up, so credit to her. Susan, you have your hand up.
It's only because today, for some reason, I can actually find that button. So usually I can locate it. Okay, so I believe, and tell me if I did this in a dream and I didn't do it in a meeting. We discussed having, adding to our membership, discussing today, a member of OCA.
Yes, yes, thank you.
And then because we had discussed whether that had to be like a legislative change or not, but according to our bylaws, it says membership chair and chair of the council can solicit appropriate. I think that we can.
Okay.
Make
Yeah.
that with the membership can.
The membership can. So to consider adding a representative from the office of.
It's telling me to put my hand down.
I'm looking because I know I have it in a note here too. The Office of Child Advocacy. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we could consider doing that. Brian, is there anything that would prohibit us from doing that? I don't know if that's something that would have to be, that's an appointment or how would that work?
So, I think it's an interesting question to add other entities, especially other advocacy entities that are already represented on the council. And so there should be discussion about that, I would say. Okay. States have reached out to us because I think other states have looked comprehensively at the makeup of their council.
Okay.
Why positions are legislated versus you've recently added students and a paraeducator, and now you're thinking about or discussing or putting on the table adding an additional advocacy agency. So my advice would be to reach out to our technical assistance center around state advisory councils if you want to formally do that. Of course, anyone's invited to come to our meetings. They're public meetings. I know in the past we've had representatives from Center of Children's Advocacy attend most of our meetings, but they were not a member of the council as legislated. Another thing to consider is the makeup of parents and professionals needs to be 50-50.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider and to think about moving forward. And so we've reached out to different technical assistance centers on this. And I think before any decisions are made, there should be some, not investigation, but checking in on to make sure the council's moving forward as, appropriately, where we won't have to take back something later on, an action that we made later on down the road.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, these are really good points. So, so when we're looking at that 50-50 makeup, be 50% parents or adults with a disability, then the other 50% would be professionals. Where do the students fall into that 50-50 mix?
Well, they wouldn't be professional, so they would be an
Right, so
individual with a
We could
disability.
do it. We would put them in. Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
great.
I'm saying, like, is there a difference between legislative members? I don't think you're asking for a legislative appointment here.
No, we just want to make
but
sure that
you-
this is, if
Yeah.
it's something, you know, if first of all, is it something that we could do? Because if it's not something we can even consider, then, you know, we don't need to go through the steps. But if it is something, then we could research it. We could check in with the Technical Assistance Center and just sort of begin that process.
Honestly, I don't know where we are as far as our numbers for our council, because I think many of us may have ideas of other entities that are not members. There's a number of advocacy agencies that are not members of the council. And so just thinking about that comprehensively, that doesn't mean we have to consider each entity or even that they've asked to. Again, I don't know. I don't know that, but we've been executing that through bylaws changes. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Got it.
Bylaw versus, legislative appointments versus, Susan, what you read from the bylaws. So that's just my advice, but.
I think we do, Brian. I think we do have more agencies than non-professional right now. I mean, I think oh my God, what is wrong with my brain today?
Parents.
We have more, we have more professional agencies right now currently. It's not 50-50.
Oh, and Brian Smith.
Is our membership list, though, a 50-50 divide, just that we have vacancies in the other areas of parent and student that makes it more professional active?
We could check that, Brian. I mean, we have, my thought was that you do have half parents, more than half, and individuals. But I don't know, like, I haven't, Jolie, I think we just put in through the state registry, the current makeup and any changes. And you did add a paraprofessional, but you added 4 students. So prior to that, we did have, it is a 50-50 makeup of 37. But we'll have to, that's something that I would maybe put on the agenda for, formally to consider. Again, that I just threw that out there as a component that we would want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on and considering.
Okay.
I want to say we're either at or close to the 50-50 now. That could change if people memberships are expiring and they don't stay on. But about a year ago, we were not. We were heavier on the professionals.
You would include the vacancy. It's okay, if you're working on the vacancies, I think that's okay. I'm just thinking in totality about. I'm just trying to pull up the regulations now, real quick.
Okay.
1076.
I think I did the thing that Jolie sent out, and if we don't include legislators and CSDE, I think it's 17 to 17.
Yeah, so that's
Wow.
Oh wait,
that would make sense.
I included. If I include, I forgot Anna. Yeah, Anna's 17 to 17 because I didn't include myself.
That would make sense. Yeah, I'm reading. It's right now, it says the executive director of the nonprofit entity designated by the governor in accordance with section 46A 10B to serve as the Connecticut Protection and Advocacy System or the executive director's designee. So, I mean, if you read that is OCA. It's also DRCT. And so it's just something I think that is good to bring up and to talk through and discuss. So.
Okay, so what do people
But
feel?
I would suggest, and I mean, you're welcome to take any
Yeah.
action you'd like. I put it on the agenda for the next membership meeting. And in
Okay,
the interim, we're happy to reach out to our technical assistance center to
Okay.
bring the committee back some more information.
it's Brian.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Thank you. Does that sound good to everyone else? Wonderful. Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me double check my list. Thanks, Susan, for noticing that one that slipped by me. Anyone have anything else that they wanted to discuss? No? Okay. All right. So, anyone want to make a motion to end the meeting?
So moved by Missy.
Thank you. And second? Denise, I think you
Denise.
raised your
Yeah,
hand. Thanks,
I did.
Denise.
Use
Okay,
my phone.
so
All
we
right.
are adjourning our membership meeting at 2:08 p.m. Everyone gets a few minutes back to their day.
Woohoo!